Hi, welcome to the Me Show. I'm Me and this is my show. Today, a comment video. And I am commenting on the topic that was raised by this recent Gillette ad. How about that fucking thing, eh? Whew, boy, hasn't that caused a bit of a stir? My personal thoughts on this, especially when I first saw it, are that my common response to these things is we've got to keep in mind, A, that people who work in advertising, it is literally their job to psychologically manipulate you. And we've got to keep that in mind. However, that being said, I personally found it pretty impressive that a major corporation would actually try and address a topic like this. Toxic masculinity. Eh? I'm making these comments in the context of some events that have occurred recently. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and today, when I'm making this video, is Friday the 18th of January. This preceding Monday of this week, a woman named Aya Masawa was found murdered in a public park. This comes only months after another young lady, Eurydice Dixon, was also found murdered in a public park. So that's the local context outside of my little world, personal world. The context inside my little personal world. In 1985, my sister Lisa Marie was murdered by her husband, Elliot Maxwell Maguire, in their home when she was trying to leave him. I was 14 at the time this happened. She was 20. So I have somewhat of an insight into what happens to a family when something like this occurs. In a future video, I will be expanding on, I'll be making a video on that specific thing and how that has affected myself and my family. But I say it now to give context to the comments that I'm making here. So the thing I found most interesting about this ad was not that there were people who didn't like the ad's message and didn't like what the ad stood for and all of that. It was the vehemence in it for the responses. That kind of surprised me. And the thing that first drew my attention is how many people's instant response to it was, but what about this problem? But what about this problem? But what about this problem? Okay, let's talk about problems, shall we? Humans are complex creatures, which means that our problems are complex, which also means that the solutions to these problems are complex. Okay? Very few things, very rarely is anything truly as black or white as we would like it to be. So, with this complexity, which we can't avoid, we are then forced to prioritize problems and to give some problems more priority than other problems. So, let's talk about them. What about the domestic violence perpetrated upon men by women? Yes, this does occur. I know for a fact that it occurs. I have had a couple of friends who have been subject to domestic violence from previous female partners, so I know that this occurs. Yes, it is a problem, and yes, we need, as a society, to address this problem as well. What about toxic femininity? Yeah, toxic femininity does exist. I've literally seen it with my own two eyes. It too is a problem that needs to be addressed. I have known people who have had some very, very bad times with things like custody, and these fathers who only want to be fathers to their children and have been treated, in some cases, really, really bad. Yes, this is a problem And this problem deserves to be addressed in our society. But I think toxic masculinity is leading to a larger problem. Right? It's leading to the problem of innocent women are being murdered in public places. All of the other things are problems. This is a bigger problem right now. Now, you can disagree with me, and that's fine. But like I said, it's the vehemence with which people are disagreeing. The other thing I found, or what seemed to be happening to me, was how people think that by raising an issue and trying to address a problem, so many people seem to instantly think that we're denying or trying to nullify other problems. Some people seem to think that by attempting to address this topic of toxic masculinity, that we're pushing all these other issues out of the way as if they are not to be addressed. That's not true. We are humans. We are complex. We can think of more than one thing at a time. Okay? So I think that this problem has priority. Now, toxic masculinity. I won't go into an examination of it, but my personal opinion in terms of what to do about toxic masculinity, I believe that the answer to toxic masculinity is not less masculinity, it is positive masculinity. There is such a thing. For example, the aggression that might drive a man to harm an innocent person is the same aggression with which a man will protect his family. The aggression isn't the problem. Its use is. We need to raise young men. We're not trying to raise less manly men. We're just trying to raise better men. You know? What is my contention? What do we do about this? How do we raise better men? How do we be better men? I'm not a parent. It's just occurring. I'm not a parent, so I don't really have any opinions on how to raise better men apart from the things that are obvious and common sense. So my response, I guess, to this is how many people have been so angry. My response is masculinity is not under attack. Right? It's being investigated because at the moment certain forms of it are a problem. My contention is that if you're the big strong man that you like to tell people you are, then you should be able to handle some criticism. You should be able to observe the world without saying anything about it. You should be able to take in all the information, and whether or not you agree with this information that's coming in, whether or not you agree with the topic, you should be able to at least take the information in and think about it. You don't have to change your mind, but you need to keep your mind open to at least consider the possibility. So, to me, a big strong man is able to handle criticism, is able to look at things and able to look at his own behavior and question it. That's what a man can do. He can look at himself and say, has some of my behavior been inappropriate? Should I change this behavior? Now, if the answer is no, then great. But I think it's important to be able to ask yourself the question. Just snapping back at things by saying, boycott Gillette and what about this and what about that? To me, to react instantaneously like that to a topic which we know is a problem just makes you look like a baby. It makes you look like a whining child. Okay? To instantly react to something, because that's what children do. Children instantly react to things because they can't control their emotions. And we don't expect that from them because they're children. We are not. We are adults. We are responsible for our actions. Now, we might feel things without intending to feel certain things. Someone might say something, we might see, read, or hear something that offends us. But we're fucking adults, guys. Be a man and handle that shit. You know, think about it. If it's not relevant to you, then that's okay. You can dismiss it. But a big, strong man can stand by and can handle looking at these things. And if you're the big, strong man that you claim you are, and if you're a representative of the gender as you claim you are, then be a man, act like it, act responsibly. Accept that there is an issue. Accept that addressing one issue does not negate other issues. As a matter of fact, handling one issue at a time is actually a very mature, or prioritizing one problem over another is actually a very mature way to handle things. That's my contention. That's my issue with the reactions to one company just saying, hey, maybe as men, maybe we could be a bit better. That's not a bad thing to ask. Am I good enough? Can I be better? And if you're a grown man, you should be able to do that. Okay, so that's probably it for my video for the moment. Who knows if I'll come in and edit some more. My name is Chris St.Clair. I hope this video has been anything at all. Like and subscribe if you wish, or don't. The underlying feeling that I've been left with, right? Not everything is an attack on you. Not everyone is trying to blame you for everything. What I'm saying is, you say you're a man, fucking act like it.